think I've reached a point where I legitimately can't keep going. I don't think I can pull myself up. I don't think I can fix anything. I don't have it in me to keep trying. I think I've reached my breaking point. I am tired. I am exhausted. And everything's a fucking mess. Not for a lack of trying, but I've just reached that point where I don't feel like I'm drowning anymore. I feel like I've already drowned. I don't feel like I'm running out of energy or running out of steam. I feel like I have just entirely burnt out. Burnt out emotionally, burnt out physically, burnt out psychologically. I don't feel like there's any hope. For 8 months, I tried. I really tried. My entire life fell apart. I lost everything I care about. But I didn't lose hope. I went to therapy, started taking medication, was exercising daily. I was lifting weights, swimming, running, cycling, climbing, all sorts of stuff. I had a healthy, balanced, nutritious, protein-high diet. I did everything you're meant to do. I got my learner's permit. I bought a car. I did my absolute best to keep going to work. I went out to jazz events and live music. I went to art galleries and exhibitions. I tried to leave the house, go out, meet new people, try new things. And none of it, nothing helped. Not the medication, not the exercise, not the therapy, not the exposure, the socializing. None of it improved my mental state at all. None of it made me feel better. None of it made me feel like there was a light at the end of the tunnel that I was going to reach. I feel just as, if not worse, than I did a year ago. And, you listen to people say, hey, don't give up, keep going, try everything, and eventually everything will be okay. Everything works out in the end. Everything happens for a reason. And months pass. Eventually a year passes. And everything is just as shitty and just as awful and lonely and isolated as ever, if not more so. Everything has gotten worse. and worse and worse and worse, no matter how hard I tried to make sure it wouldn't. So, I give up. I've given up. When everything hit the fan, I at least had two relatively consistent friends I could see, spend time with, do things with. And over the last year, that has dwindled to the point where I don't see one of them ever. I haven't seen him in like 5 months. And then the other main friend I have, I see maybe once a week. Apart from that, I have no one. Things didn't get better. They got worse and worse. And at this point, it's practically impossible for me to get out of bed. I lay in bed and I sit there and I think of one good reason to get out of bed, to get up and do something, and I can't think of anything. Photography doesn't make me happy anymore. Writing movie scripts doesn't make me happy anymore. Going skating or on walks do nothing. I am just as lonely and isolated and miserable as ever. It doesn't matter if I go to art galleries. It doesn't matter if I go to photography exhibitions. It doesn't matter if I go to Melbourne CBD or... None of it helps. For 4 years, I was stuck with myself. I had to learn to enjoy my own company and to do the things I wanted to do alone. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any family or family members I could do things with. And after those 4 years, I was barely hanging on. And now I'm back in that same position. Except now I am severely agoraphobic. And leaving the house for any real extensive period of time or going anywhere crowded or busy is a Brobdingnagian task. It doesn't matter what I do or where I go. Learning to enjoy your own company only works for so long, and eventually you need other people to stand by you and be friends and family to you and not leave, not abandon you or neglect you. But no matter how hard I try, I just can't seem to find that. No matter how hard I try to be beneficial to people's lives, to be worth keeping around, worth not abandoning, I find myself stuck in this same position again and again. Doesn't matter if I cook, if I clean, doesn't matter how hard I try to be independent and take up as little space or as little, have as few needs as possible. Caring about me just seems to be too difficult a task for most people. For most of my life, I have had to try and find family where I can, because I have not been able to have any real level of successful and healthy relationship with my own family. I have tried to build a one-sided bridge so many times only to find myself collapsing without them even trying to build from the other end. It's always up to me to try and repair and rebuild and form things, and they just don't put any effort in at all. So I've had to try and find family through friends, through work, through access to other people's families, and hoping that I can help out and become a quasi or an extended part of that family. And a lot of other people have to do that as well. You know, some people don't have families, maybe they're dead. Some people come from abusive households, but that need for family is so deep that you look for it everywhere and you grab it wherever you can. But because usually that found family is connected to you via someone else and your relationship to that person, if you lose that connection to that person, you lose access to the entire family, to the entire group. And then overnight, upwards of 10 or 15 people disappear from your life like that. In the blink of an eye, it's as if your entire family died. You never get to say goodbye. You never get to talk to them again. You never get to go to another family dinner or be part of another family tradition. They're just gone. And losing that is one of the worst experiences you can ever go through. It is unending grief. It is grieving for people who aren't dead. People who are living lives without you. And it's not one or two, it's 7, 8, 9, 10 people just going about their lives as if you don't exist. People feel like no one would care if they died because they've been made to feel that way. Because people in their lives have treated their existence as non-consequential to them. When you walk away from someone, when you cut someone off, when you abandon someone, you tell them that my life is better off without you in it. I am happier without you in my life. You tell them that your existence is not enough of a benefit to me for me to hold on to you, to keep you around, to not abandon you. And that can happen to you once or twice, and you can learn to, get over it. You can see your own personal value and go, hey, I'm good enough. I'm worthy of love and care. But when it happens to you again and again, from whole friendship groups to whole found families again and again, eventually it just becomes an objective evaluation of your value as a human being, or your lack thereof value, or your lack of value overall. Because if you were good enough, if you were a benefit to people's lives, they wouldn't be able to so easily discard you. And to have your own parents not see you as someone worth trying to maintain a relationship with, or reach out to, or apologize to, and to have whole swaths of whole groups of people you considered friends do the same, never attempting to reach out or reconnect or anything. It doesn't matter how good your self-esteem is. It doesn't matter if you know yourself to be a good enough person or see your own value. How we are valued by society at large, our jobs, how we are valued by our parents, our siblings, our partners, and our friends do ultimately determine how we are valued. And sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you try to be that beneficial person. Sometimes you're just not good enough, no matter how hard you try.